Hi y'all! So I wanted to film this video for you and talk a little bit about warming up and cooling down. So you need to take the appropriate amount of time, usually between 5 and 10 minutes, to warm up before every single workout, and then a little bit of time to cool down at the end as well. The reason you need to warm up is in order to get your muscles and joints moving appropriately, making sure the mobility of everything is there, as well as raise your internal body temperature. If you jump right into doing some jump squats or anything kind of crazy, right away, your body is going to freak out, your muscles are going to seize, it's going to think that you're under attack, literally, and the whole thing is just going to make you feel awful. So take the time, make sure you schedule in the time to do a warm-up and a little short cool down. So I'm going to take you through what I normally do in my warm-up, and then as well as my cool down. So for warming up, I like to start on the ground because I'm a lazy person and I like to be on the ground. So normally what I'll do is I'll start in all fours. So hands are underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. You're gonna drop the belly, lift the chest, and then exhale, pull it in. So this is called cat-cow. You're gonna do this 3 to 5 times, depending on how you're feeling. And then I like to do a motion called threading the needle. So you're gonna take your left hand, place it right underneath your face, reach your right arm straight up to the ceiling, and then literally take it underneath your armpit and just rest on that shoulder. Yes, your butt is gonna be in the air. Get over it, it feels good. And then you can do that on the other side too. Reach up, thread it underneath, lay on that shoulder. This is gonna stretch out the upper body and take a little twisting action to the core. So from here, sometimes I like to throw in a little extra cat-cows. Then from here you can tuck your toes, lift your heels, come into downward facing dog. So pedal your feet a little bit, maybe kick it up, one leg, depending on how you're feeling. But just stay here for as long as you need to. And then I like to do an exercise called a beast wave. So you're gonna lift your toes, reach it forward into a plank position, and then push it straight back. I'm gonna scooch back so you can see, there you go. So lift the toes, come forward, plank position, push it back. So you wanna roll through every single part of your spine and push it back. Do that as many times as you need to in order to get the spine moving. Good, all right, and then inchworm your hands back in. Roll all the way up to standing. Sometimes I'll do some arm circles, especially if it's gonna be an upper body day. Just get the blood moving, get the shoulders moving a little bit. Yeah. And then I'll take a little bit of mobility with the hips as well. So especially for leg day, anything squatting, deadlifting, this is really important. You're gonna start in this half kneeling position just like you've done before. So one leg is tucked directly underneath the hip bone, the other one is nice and square. Make sure your headlights on your hip bones are square to the front as well. So from here, all you're gonna do is press into your front leg and then push back into your back knee. So from the side, you're pressing forward and then stepping back. So you can do this as many times as you need to in order to get that hip flexor nice and engaged. If you have a bad knee or if your hips are bothering you, you can do this in a slightly different way as well. So what you're gonna do is start with a nice neutral pelvis, maybe a little bit of a sway back, sticking your booty out. And then all you're gonna do is scoop your pelvis forward. Think about sending your hip bones up towards the ceiling. Feel that stretch in your hip flexor, and then relax. This will only work if your back foot is tucked. If your back foot is untucked, you'll feel it a little bit, but not nearly as much as you can. So make sure that back foot is tucked, your front foot is stable, and you're just gonna scoop that pelvis forward and relax. Scoop it forward and relax. Good. So you can either do those two options, a nice long lunge forward, pressing back, or you can take that hip pelvis option here. Do that a few times, and then you're gonna do what I like to call frog squat. Super attractive angle. So you want your heels together, but your toes facing outward. Your knees are right on top of your toes. So place your hands on the ground, and then you're just gonna straighten your legs as much as you can. So for some people, that might just be here. You might even be off the ground a little bit, totally fine. Some people, you might be able to straighten your legs all the way. When you do that, come back down. So from the side, heels together, toes apart. Press your heels down, try to lift your hips as high as you can, or straighten your legs all the way. Nice, so like I said, totally fine if your hands come off the ground a little bit. You just wanna feel that stretch in your hamstrings, turning out from the hips a little bit. You can also do it a little bit more parallel if that's more comfortable for you. Gents, this might be a little more comfortable for you, straightening up this way, as opposed to turned out. Totally up to you. And then I like to do a little plank to push up just to finish it out with some core. So start on the forearms, come into your plank. You're gonna come up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down. This should look pretty familiar because it should be in at least 1 or 2 of your workouts. Do that as many times as you need. I like to shoot for about 10 sets total. And you're warmed up. You should feel a little bit, heart rate a little bit elevated. A little maybe a little sweat going here. Your hips should feel warm, glutes feel warm, core should feel up to par, arms a little bit of motion there, and then you're ready to go into your workout.